Hi everyone, JR with Secure Metals, bringing you your technical update here for both gold and silver. Today is the 24th day of September, 11:31 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be doing a top-down analysis here on the upper time frames for gold, silver, Dow, and the US dollar. Okay, we'll start with the monthly chart here on gold. I believe I've already gone. This is going to be a quick video because I've already gone through most of these zones here on my previous video, but that video was really just a video to show you guys about the zones and how I come up with these zones where the market usually reacts around those zones. So this is your monthly chart. We'll start off with gold monthly chart. Currently market obviously moving down. If I'm going to look at this level here, what I'm going to say is here's a zone right here for the monthly chart. This looks like a sell zone. So if we see some consolidation coming back over here and it does not take this level out, okay, if it does not take this level out, then most likely what you're going to have is you're going to have a test of this level, come back to this level here, because this zone is not too good. Until we can see some confirmation and a breakthrough this level here, we're not going to consider this a strong sell zone. Okay, so as of now, we're still waiting for confirmation, seeing if we're going to break through this low here at around 1182, 1181, and of course the bottom of the zone is at 1150. Is actually at around 1157. So we have to find some buyers here. If we don't find some buyers, then obviously the next zone, not guaranteed that it's going to break this level and touch the next zone. A lot of times it just barely touches the zone and comes right back up. But technically speaking, we break this zone. This is your next target here, 1117 here on this monthly chart. Okay, this is your next level of buyers. All right, it's your weekly chart, your daily chart, I'm sorry, that was your monthly chart. This is your weekly chart. Same thing here on the weekly. We can clearly see here that this is the zone here. I'll make this green actually, just so we know that these are buy zones, okay? So again, break below this level here, your next zone, your next buying zone is anywhere between 11 all the way down to 1045, 1044, right? So if we don't find support here, this is where I do expect to find support. I wouldn't buy anymore. I think the next purchase for me, because I've already accumulated here, unless it's new additions, I would not buy unless this thing hits 1055 or 1050 around this level here. This will be a good level to continue to add to your positions and continue to raise, to get to 8-10% of your investment portfolio in these precious metals market. We know the dollar is looking to crush the dollar, and currently obviously not having the dollar's rallying. But again, I'll do an analysis on the dollar as well. So again, same scenario, monthly and weekly, both the same. As of now, we are still waiting for a confirmation and a breakthrough this level here before we can count this level here at all. On the daily chart here, now by the way, the stochastics on the weekly chart are a bit stretched, a bit on the oversold side here, so we might see a little bit of a bounce before you see an additional decline, or we might just continue to head lower and test this bottom level here, which currently I do expect to test, but you just never know with these markets, right? The dollar's very overextended, so it could turn around anytime. And of course, this is what I'd be looking at here on gold. Okay, this is your daily chart. Check this out here. This is your, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show these two lines here. Okay, this is one level here, and this will be your next level here. This will be your next low, right? So we look for the strongest level that broke a zone. So this was the last level that was broken right here. I'll make this, okay, this was the last level that was broken. This level was 1118, which I mentioned that on my previous videos. A breakthrough that level could continue to test the next level, which is anywhere between 1206 all the way down to 1182. So if I'm looking at this chart here, obviously very bearish, so I wouldn't make a bet on this, but really this is the zone where you want to keep an eye out. Okay, that's your zone. Okay, this we should have a reaction here roughly at around 1206. This is a pretty big zone, so you might not see a reaction all the way down to maybe the 1200 zone, the 1200 level. Usually these big zones, they usually get a little bit penetrated before they react, but we could also see this bounce from 1206 a bit higher and then possibly come down low and retest this level, make sure it's going to hold or not, right? So that's your daily chart. Now we can see here, this was a big level here. Okay, right? This is your big level, big down move to the downside, very nice. It actually broke this key support at 1218. It surpasses. You had a low of 1216. Normally, this is a good area to buy, sell, but I wouldn't sell. I wouldn't sold here simply because we broke this trend line. This market yesterday broke the trend line. Look at it on the 4-hour chart, and when you break that trend line, right? When you break that trend line, you don't necessarily want to get in the way of it, because it can continue to go higher and test the other levels, right? But as of now, this is how that would have looked. I would have, if this level wouldn't have held, then you would look to find some resistance around this level, around the 1250 zone. But again, you had a bullish engulfing candle here. Very big bullish engulfing candle. It actually engulfed every other candle prior. And this is on the 4-hour chart again, by the way. Very small chart. And then you had another engulfing candle here to the downside. So again, this level here held here really nicely. This level of support, of resistance. And as you can see, instantly touched the zone and came right back down. So now we want to see if this level is going to hold and if this level is going to try to bring this back up and break through this. You got a confluence though also with this 20-day moving average of highs and lows as well. So I would assume that this level would hold. If this level doesn't hold, then obviously I would say between 1250 zone all the way up to the 1260 zone, okay? If we break above this line, then that'll be a bullish sign here for gold. You might have some buyers, and this might continue to go higher, maybe test the 1300 range before deciding what it's going to do. Being that silver did break a significant line though, I would favor the downside as of now. Let's look at silver though. Let's start with the monthly chart here. Silver found some support here at this range here. Okay, this is the zone. Still has not broken through this key zone here, though it did break. So we need this zone to be taken out before we look at this zone. Now again, remember, like I said on the previous video, we have this long-term trend line here that should act as support now. If it falls below that level, then again, this is the next zone to find some support between 1460 and 1650. Also have a confluence here at around 1552 under production cost. So again, phenomenal time to continue to add to your positions. You can't be afraid of this market because this is how the market functions, okay? You can't be afraid of buying here, and you can't be afraid of selling up here, right? So you have to understand the way these fundamentals work, and you have to understand that nothing can go up forever and nothing can come down forever. So, you want to sell at the highs, you want to buy at the lows. That's just the rule of thumb here. But let's go back to silver and finish this off. Again, these are the important levels to keep up with. $17 even, $16.96, all the way to $18.66. Usually, these tend to come back up here to the 1865, to the high of the zone. So usually you'll probably find let's say a test of $17, comes back up to 1866, and then decides if it's going to continue to go down further. But that's usually what happens, and usually these are the deciding factors when you have such a significant level like this here, the 1820, and this level here, which is quite possibly, out of every level here that I see of buys, this level seems to be a phenomenal level. I mean, look at the way this market took off. The amount of orders that had to be here in order for this market to be here, it must be a ridiculous, it must just be a stupid number of orders here, and that's why this market took off the way it did. Now we have to see how many orders are left. We have tested this level here once, twice, 3 and 4 times. So we know that every order from 18, 20 and up have already been absorbed. Now we have to wait to see how many orders we're going to find. Because again, remember, the institutions are telling the retailers right now, if you watch CNBC and if you watch the mainstream media, these are the guys that pump the Alibabas, and they pump and pump and pump, and then they dump. Right, so this is you hear the market right now. Everyone seems very comfortable with the Dow Jones hitting 17,300. But again, in the same respects, that's their job. Their job is to pump. They're great at it. So while they're telling you to sell, they're buying, and while they're telling you to buy, they're selling. Trust me when I tell you, no huge institution right now is buying aggressive right now in the Dow Jones in this market. It's just a very shaky market. At any rate, so again, I expect to find some support here around the $17 range, $16.98, before possibly going a little bit higher, retesting this level and coming back down if the case is going to be that it's going to continue to go down. Okay. Stochastics on the monthly end still pointing a little bit low. Volume seems to be very leveled here, not big volume. Again, stochastics seem very oversold. Not much volume here, again, on the weekly chart. And again, like I showed on that previous video, this is your first zone here, 1734. It actually bounced. This is the weekly, so the support zones will be a little bit different in the resistance zones. So again, it actually tested the bottom of this range. The bottom of this range was roughly 1733, and the low for this was 1735, and it took back off at around 1777. I look to find support here on this trend line coming down, confluence with this zone here between 1650 all the way up to 1703. Okay, stochastics are very, very, very oversold here on the on silver. Okay, and the daily chart here, we can clearly see clear downtrend. And as of now, before we turn bullish, there's a few levels that we do have to surpass. I would probably say that $19, we surpassed $19 to $19.30. That's going to be a great sign. Get out of this trend that we have here. This trend line has to be broken, come up above, and then you have another trend line that you're going to have to test here roughly in the high 19s. So as of now, the daily chart looks bearish here, and again, I would expect any test of the 1820 all the way up to 1870 is going to have is going to be very well resisted, right? Because this is going to be resistance. Let's look at the Dow. Okay, Dow Jones looks like it made a false breakout. Okay, let's look at the monthly here. The monthly chart, you had a bullish engulfing candle here. All right, this was your zone. You had a bullish engulfing candle. Currently right now testing to see what's happening in this market. Can trade sideways for a little bit before going higher or before coming down lower. If it does come lower, I can tell you that this might be a false breakout. And if it is a false breakout, remember what I've said time after time. Anytime you have a breakout and it turns out to be false, the move to the downside is usually a lot faster than the move to the upside. So again, we did have some zones here. Okay, we can see that this zone worked out very well. This zone is in control. This was your other zone here. Let's take that out. Okay, and this was your resistance zone. Okay, the resistance, it actually, and again, when you have the Federal Reserve telling the markets what to do, it's kind of hard for zones to be as healthy as they should. But again, we actually played around in this zone here for about 2 weeks, for about a week and a half, before finally coming down here to the zone. Like I said on the silver chart, usually you test the top of the zone, and silver's case was the bottom of the zone, and then you test the top of the zone, kind of like what we saw here. So we tested the top of the zone, 1750, and came back down here to around 16,934, which is the bottom of the zone, and then we shot back up. So as of now, look at this daily chart here. It does seem like this might have been a false breakout. If it is a false breakout, then you should find some resistance between here. Look at this 20-day moving average, right, of highs and lows. You'll probably find some resistance here at the highs of the 20-day moving average. All right, and this should continue to create new lows below this level. If it's not a false breakout, I don't know why it would have come down so deep into this market. But we also have another zone here where we can clearly see here that this market took off, took over the initial highs, the previous highs of 17,150, and continued to go higher. We had some really solid consolidation up here, nice smooth move to the downside. There would have been a good opportunity to go long here, but again, when you're up so high in the curve, you want to wait for confirmation before you go higher. Especially, I would have liked this market to come down. Let's look at the 4-hour chart where we'll see some more levels. I would have probably liked this Dow Jones if this level here would have held, right? So if this level come up sideways, and finally a big move to the upside, that's where the orders were. These orders were taken out very easily, came out here one day, the very next, actually these are 4 hours, so 4 hours came down, tested it, and finalized down here. So again, not many orders here means that there's not a lot of confidence in this rally. So I'd like to see this market create new highs before suggesting for anyone to go higher. But again, it did touch the bottom of the daily support zone, and as you can see, it literally just almost touched it. This was 17,033, and this is 17,031. So again, a lot of orders here as market's moving higher. At this point, we have to wait if this 20-day moving average is going to hold. Okay, if it's going to hold, then this market is going to continue to go sideways, down, and this is going to be a false breakout, which means that I expect this level, at least this level here, around 16.6, all the way down to 16.3 to be tested again. If this is a false breakout, we should see a fast move down. Okay, last chart we'll look at is the US dollar. Okay, and clear uptrend on this US dollar. Let's draw some lines here, and I expect to find some resistance roughly around here on the 1860 range, 1865 range, right? Because we have this this trend line. So again, the dollar does have a lot of momentum. I do expect this dollar to continue to go a bit higher. Currently testing the 85 zone. Hasn't tested this zone since 2013, since roughly July of 2013, creating new highs. Looks like it's going to test the top of this zone here, and after that we have to wait and see what's going to happen. Now we can also come back. And again, remember, if we find some resistance here, and we might see silver hit a new low, but we might not see gold hit a new low. But that's only time can tell at this point. And if we look at this monthly chart, we can also draw another line here. Okay, so it does look like somewhere around 18 and 85 and a quarter, you're gonna test this line here. Okay. If this line fails to resist, then the next zone that we'll be looking at is between here and here, but not necessarily at this level here. I would probably suggest that if we surpass $86, then this is most likely going to test this level here around the $89 to $90 range, and of course your last stop would be at around 92. I tell you, if the dollar continues to gain, it just shows more failure in monetary policy. Again, we're really throwing away a lot of money. We're putting our kids into debt, and the reason why we're doing this is because we want a weak dollar, and obviously it's not working. So they're either going to have to amp it up or come up with a new solution, and the only solutions that they have is printing more money or reducing interest rates even further, kind of like the ECB where they're in negative territory. So as of now, those are your 4 analyses. I'm going to do a research video on interest rates. That'll be the next video, and that should be coming out here pretty soon to a theater near you. And just look for that. Hopefully by the end of the day, possibly first thing in the morning. All right. Hope everyone has a great day. And what a phenomenal opportunity here. I do have to say here for silver and gold. I mean, what a beautiful market. What failed policies, government intervention. We just bombed another country, 6 countries in the last 5 years. It's pretty sad that this is the world that we're living in. But in the same respects, understand the fundamentals and you will be okay. Because again, this market is trying to shake everyone out. And I'll tell you time and time again that the big boys are accumulating. As a matter of fact, that's another article that I'm going to show. I'm going to show you guys the volume on purchases here on the next video. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great rest of the week. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.